Alright, this is lesson 18, multiplying complex numbers. We've been talking about complex numbers for the last few days here, and remember what complex numbers are. Complex numbers are numbers that have a real part and an imaginary part. So you would have a real part, which is like A, the imaginary part would be B, I, right? And so we only talked about real numbers all our life. Now we have these sets of numbers called imaginary numbers, and when we put them together, they're called complex numbers. So today we're going to learn how to multiply them. We know how to add and subtract them from yesterday's lesson. Now we know how to multiply them. So these are the steps for today. Multiply like polynomials. If I exist, then identify the exponent. Divide the exponent of the imaginary number by 4 to find the remainder. Use the remainder to apply these rules. I to the first power is just I. Remember, I squared inside the radicand is like saying -1. I to the third is negative I, because it's like saying I squared times I, which is -1 times I. And then I to the fourth is -1 times -1, which is a positive 1. And then we simplify. Okay? Pause the video here so you can write the steps. Alright, I'm going to move on to do a couple examples here. So number 1, just watch right now before you start writing it down, okay? Number 1, the first thing you want to do is look at the problem. It says multiply, reading the directions here. We're going to multiply. We have 10 times a value here, so we need to distribute this value, or this 10 in. So 10 times -9 is going to be -90. 10 times -11 is -110. And then we have an I there that was being multiplied. There's nothing else I have to multiply, so all I have to do now is ensure that it's in the proper A plus BI order. We have a real number, here, plus an imaginary part. It's all in the right order, so this is literally our last answer. This is a one-step problem. Pretty easy, right? Again, what did I do? Looked at the directions. I'm noticing I'm multiplying. So all I'm doing is I'm treating this I like it's a variable. Alright? So you just multiply 10 times -9, -90. 10 times -11 is -110i. Okay, that's number 1. That's number 1. So number 2, watch again. Don't write down anything yet. We have two binomials. These are two complex numbers being multiplied, right? There's a multiply sign in between these two parentheses. So the first thing you want to do is multiply the first term times the first term here. -3 times 1 is -3. Okay. Then we have -3 times positive 3i, which is -9i. Okay, we're done with that part. So now we need to do the next term. 4i times 1 is positive 4i. And then positive 4i times 3i is positive 12i squared. Okay? So now we have to do a little bit of combining here and simplifying. So -3 is its own little constant, so we're going to bring that down. This -9i plus 4i, we are going to combine that. -9i plus 4i is equal to -5i. And then we got 12i, or 12 times I squared, and I remember I squared is equal to -1, or a negative sign, right? So positive 12 times the negative sign is -12, okay? Now I have to combine this constant into this constant. And if you notice, look what happened here. -12 used to have an imaginary part, but I squared just really means a negative number, so this is now a real number, -12. So we need to combine -3 and -12. -3 and -12 is -15. Minus 5i, and that's it. That's how you do number 2. Alright? So that's how you do numbers 1 and 2. So what I'd like you to do for your homework is write these down, and I want you to explain the steps on the side of what you did on each one. First I multiplied it out, and in particular write the steps down for, I think I want you to write the steps down for this second one, okay? So that's what I want to see for your homework tonight. Again, you're writing both of these down, and then I want you to explain the steps in writing next to the example for number 2. Okay? That concludes this lesson. Tomorrow we're going to come into class and we're going to practice these and answer any questions you have. Alright, thank you.